A blessed day to all of you and to those who are joining us in our worship through this live stream. We start today reading from the so-called sapiential books or books of wisdom in the Bible from the book of Proverbs. And this book is the traditional and the most optimistic expression of this wisdom in this book of Proverbs. The perspective or horizon of this book embraces the three great relations which constitute the fundamental web of human life. The bond with God, first and foremost. The relationship with things, with creation. And the relationship with fellow human beings. Three things or great relations that constitute the very fabric of our human life. The last theme dedicated our reflection today. This is a small collection of teachings that we read today, which are placed in the mouth of a father-teacher figure. We find here that the concern is that of the social morality or relationship with other people. And this social morality taught by the wise men and women of Israel consists of a series of commitments, often dramatized in sketches of lived experiences, like the case, for example, in today's, reading. Part of the saying is that the immediate and spontaneous generosity in verses 27 and 28. And the thread that unites all this is that of love for others, love for one's neighbor, which in the book of Leviticus will be formulated in that famous saying, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself," in chapter 19, verse 18. Egoism, wickedness, anger, envy, pride are detested by the Lord and therefore also by the just person. A pious person who lends and gives generously to the poor is acceptable and pleasing to God. If we look at these wisdom sayings, teachings, we see, of course, that it comes from God. But at the same time, we notice also that it is very much embedded in our mindfulness and reflection of our human situation. It comes or it emanates from there, from the reflection of what is good, what is honorable, what can be found as beautiful in human situation. In other words, this wisdom, this goodness is not only given by explicit teaching of the scriptures, but rather we see this coming from our reflection, appreciation of our human situation. And this connects us even with those non-believers. The lesson therefore is, when a person is truly rooted in his culture, in his relationship, and tries to live according to the ideals of the human community, it resonates clearly with that will of God. And so, as we live our life, while we say, thank God that we have the scriptures to enlighten us, but also our own connectedness with who we are, the reflection of our humanity, our human situation, leads us also to that ideals of humanity, of goodness, of charity, and many other virtues. As we live our life, let it be a life that is always connected with a sincere, honest look, consideration on ourselves, on our situation, because that leads us to goodness, to virtues that are congruent with the will of God. Amen.